Hi there. Welcome to this edition of Street Smart Lab Business Show. We are discussing today something very, very important to the existence and survival of the business. Every enterprise cannot do without having the right set of employees, managing them the right way, and having the best of relationship between the employees and the employer. Our key focus is on human capital management, very germane to the existence of every organization. There is no business without employees, and there are no employees at all if there are no businesses. Only businesses that exist will employ people that we'll call employees. And so somehow you realize that it's important we all come to terms with the fact that employees and employers are key to the existence of the human race. There must be a business for people to be employed, and there must be people that can be employed for every business to survive or to even exist in the first instance. Even if you use a robot or what have you, you will still need humans to get things done right from the onset. So our discussion today is focused on a very important thing around employee-employers relationship. And today in the studio, I have with me a very important personality who has over the years built track record in the human resources industry. He's a fantastic guy and a wonderful person joining me today, right? And I would expect that we would pay rapt attention to listen to him and hear him out. He's a name in the industry, Tope Awolowo. Tope Awolowo, fondly called TA, is your go-to man for international corporate culture deployment, business processes management, people operations management, and processes/system efficiency with 16 years plus of experience cutting across different sectors. TA practically reshapes the corporate culture wheels by creating simple, easy to adapt, interpret, and implementable policies. He diligently executes these policies with all stakeholders, aligning varying degrees of execution and performance, paradigm, and expectations with the organization's core values, system, set out missions, and vision. TA is happily married to his honeybone, Kikelomo, and they are blessed with children. Welcome to today's business show with Street Smart Lab, Mr. Tope Awolowo. It's a pleasure having you, and
the pleasure is all mine.
Right, we are so glad that it's going to be a great time of eye-opening session to talk about human development, right, with relations to entrepreneurship. Like I've always maintained, there is no business without people working, and no one will be called an employee without a business that he is going to be attached to or that he's working for. Okay, so it's important we try as much as possible to have a good understanding of human capital development with relation to employee-employers relationship, and get the best out of things that can be helpful, to entrepreneurs out there and help their businesses to move forward. So I think we can start this discussion by you just giving us an overview, looking at your background in human development capital, you got a background in human resources development. Maybe you just give us an overview of your perspective of how you see entrepreneurship and human capital development generally?
All right, thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here. Every business, you know, depends on the people. First of all, the people running the business who work there. A lot of emphasis are placed on the customers, but first of all, you treat the people who work there as the internal customers. And off the top of my head, the first thing that comes to mind will be the factors of production, which we learned in elementary economics from school. You know, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. What's the fourth thing? Land, labor. You look at those four elements, and you realize that the human drives 3 out of the 4. In some cases, the whole 4. Because you look at land in agri, for example, there are certain elements that still involve human, even for the land, for the factor called land. You look at entrepreneurship, you look at labor, those are all humans behind them. You look at capital, what are we talking about? We're talking about human capital. So if you look at it critically, 3 out of those 4 are genuinely driven by humans. Essentially the whole 4 actually, but for the sake of this argument, let's say 3 out of the whole 4. So we cannot stress enough, you know, for entrepreneurs, for big corporations, no matter the size of the business, we cannot stress enough how important managing your human capital, and some school of thoughts actually oppose using managing, leading the people, because some people argue that you cannot manage people, you manage other resources. But whatever perspective or school of thought you belong to, we cannot stress it enough. I'm sure in the course of this discussion, we'll still get to the other aspects of how to lead, how to appropriate, how to implement relations, policies, and all that. But we cannot stress it enough how integral human resources is to any business.
Okay, good. So how would you then, let's get to the nitty-gritty of it, in terms of the human capital development now, how would you describe it, the correlation between it and the survival of a business?
Yes, like I stressed earlier, for all businesses, for all entrepreneurship, startups, venture capital, the vision of the entrepreneur, the vision of the let's say the visionary, everything rests and falls on that. What do you see, entrepreneurs? What do you want to achieve? And when you understand that humans are going to be behind whatever it is you want to achieve, then it's important you place the right investment, the right focus, the right training development on the human aspect. I mean, you're not going to be at your business every hour of the day. Other people, other aspects of it are going to be handled by other people. So what have you put in place to get those things running, the systems, the structures, they're still going to be run by persons, So what have you put in place? What vision have you sold? What structures have you put in place to keep those things running, even many years after you're gone, We're not just talking about you being away for a few weeks. I mean, many years after you've gone, what structures are in place to keep the business concern going? So for me, structures, the vision, first of all, what do you see? How do you see it? How long do you see your business going? What projections have you made? What interventions do you foresee? So when you have that clearly spelled out, written out, then you can now channel your both human and non-human resources appropriately.
So, but with what you've just described, you talked more also of the structure. Are you putting it straight out there now to say that the starting point for the successful setup and running of a business has to look at the structure, how you pass across this, the culture to the people, and then along the line, either deliberately or indeliberately, you will have been building something in them that will definitely form the growth, the capital development of these people that are the integral part of the business.
From the beginning and continuously, yes, it's an ongoing thing. Like I mentioned earlier on, you set the vision. There's something called vision casting. It's a continuous thing. You don't just set the vision for the year and go to sleep. It's something you reiterate all through the year. This is the goal. We usually have this vision board in the office. Let's say our target is 100. Maybe you want to sell 100 products. Maybe you want to recruit 100. So day 1, where are we? 2, day 3. So everybody sees it. Maybe on your Monday meetings, it's there for everybody to look at. What happened? Where are we here? Where are we not gotten to what we set for the week or for the month? So it's a continuous thing, and it cuts across, apart from number of products you want to sell or whatever you want to recruit, or in terms of other things too. Okay, trainings for my people, where are we with that? So it's a continuous thing. We need to get to this level, we need to get to that level across board, not just for product sales or in terms of profit. If you also have CSR initiatives, it should be on the board too. Where are we with this? Every aspect of your business should be there and be reiterated to the teams, and also track back. Where are we here? Where are we? What are the challenges? And take notes. It is the what and what that went wrong, not the who, because it's also very critical. We don't knock them down. Let's look at what and what is responsible for where we are. What are the challenges? Government brought new policy, natural disaster, whatever. So let's focus on the actions, on the initiatives, on the what's, and like I said, continuously reiterating it. This is where we want to be at, and also using your competitor and using the global standard as a framework, as a check and balance. Okay, what are our competitors doing? If we are proclaiming that we want to play on the global level, what are our peers on the global level? What are they doing? So that should be a guide, and continuously reiterating, going back to the drawing board, fine-tuning, training, and re-emphasizing, sharpening the focus of the teams, and that's it. It's a continuous thing.
So if we have a situation where companies take out time to do this, or in fact, let me not even say we have, if we have, like we usually have it, we have businesses that are going for their goals, and they know that the very important and integral part of their success is that they continue to develop this team and ensure that everyone is on top of his or her game, okay, to achieve the goals that we have set out to be. Well, there is this concern for people also that they could have spent that much, right? Either training them externally or internally. They could have spent so much resources getting all those things done, and the next few weeks, the next few months, you have an employee who comes in, who throws in his or resignation letter. And it has always been a concern sometimes for people or for some businesses to really spend that much or send people for some top-notch kind of training that could be impactful for the business. So how would you, from your experience, right, in this field, how would you describe both the business owners or the businesses that are careful spending and wasting, and the entrepreneur, and the employees who also gets this training and the next fly he moves on, or some other business I've heard of who try to also ask their employees to sign an agreement to say that after 2 years or 3 years, I don't know how binding that really works. I've heard of those cases, but I don't know if it really was. So how would you place all this together?
There's a short answer, a very popular one. I don't know if you heard about it. What if we train them and they leave? And somebody said, what if we train them and they stay? So, like, I'll drop back to what I said initially. What's your vision as an entrepreneur? If your vision is to develop people, whether they choose to stay or they choose to leave. If they choose to stay and your mindset is that have developed XYZ number of people, they are in XYZ places in the industry, and you're proud of what you've done, whether they chose to stay or not, then that's fine by you. But for those who are not that large-hearted, for organizations or entrepreneurs who are not that large-hearted, then I'm sorry to say they stand to face the consequences, because if you don't develop your people, or let's say you're constrained by budget, it still comes back to your vision. What do you see? Do you want to develop these people with the mindset that if they choose to stay, it's for my benefit. If they choose to go, it's still for my benefit. Either way, I win, because I've added value to that person. Though I did not enjoy the value directly in my business, but it's somewhere else adding value to the world. So, it depends on what you see. And most entrepreneurs need to see through a larger scope, rather than just I won't develop somebody because I'm afraid they will leave. That's a very small way of looking at it. Because, like I said initially, what if we train them and they don't leave? You're going to enjoy the seeds that you've sown.
And if you don't train them and they stay,
you are still going to enjoy
the poor,
in quotes, the poor,
performance.
And if you now want to juxtapose that, okay, how much am I losing because my people are not properly trained? Then you get a clearer picture, But I want us to bring it down to earth. Entrepreneurs in this climb are struggling, right? So I know it's a genuine concern that if I invest XYZ amount in these people and they leave, So let's not make it look like it's easy. It's an easy investment. It's not. Investing in these people, in your people, might not be easy, but like I said, it starts from the mind. What's your vision? So if you walk from that angle of, okay, this is what I see, and this is what I want to do with my people, this is where we are going, and you sell all this to them in trainings, I'm sure, it will have an impact in your retention level when you sell, okay, we have XYZ training planned for the year, and XYZ people will be going for trainings. When your people hear that, I'm sure they will think twice about leaving. So it's all about the vision and reiterating it. Okay, this is our plan for training, this is our plan for sales, this is our plan for. So when people know that there's actually plans for them in all those areas, then they'll think about it twice before they jump ship.
Okay, so I think in our next edition we'll come to discuss about this retention and the high turnover rate that some businesses experience with regards their human resources. That would have been very helpful to the business. If they actually had stayed much longer, especially if you have spent so much on them. So I think this particular session, let's cap it up with this. How would you place a good employee and employer relationship? How do you describe those things that can be helpful, those things that usually lead to the bad blood or the issues, right? And those things that can motivate or the entrepreneur can do, to help that good relationship, and also the employee also, right? The things that the employee will do. So let's just look at it from all angles, the employee-employer relationship as we cap this session off.
All right, I'll go back to the factors of production again. Your land, your labor, entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurship is where I want to focus on now, because in developing your employee relations, with your team members, for all the entrepreneurs out there, if you're listening, the spirit of enterprise that you have, that the lead man, the visionary has in the respective establishments, you need to ignite your team members with it. When your team members have that same spirit of enterprise, which brought you into business, and having that spirit of enterprise means sitting down, having exchanges with them, vision casting that I mentioned earlier on, discussing the challenges, the options, and letting everybody chip in. That's how you develop the spirit of enterprise in each and every member of your team members. So that way, not only are you tight, not only do you have a relationship that goes beyond the workspace, the office space, you can now bring in issues, through mentorship, through coaching that are beyond the office space. But the spirit of enterprise that you ignite them with bonds everybody and ignites everybody, puts the fire on their tail, so that even if you're not at work for 6 months, they already know what to do. They already have that fire. So the enterprise spirit in the lead man has to be replicated in each of the team members. And for me, that's the height of employee relations anybody can instill in their organization. Now, not every manager has that. So it's also critical for us in recruitment to look out for that trait. Can this person instill the vision? Can, in my absence, can they do it? Can they carry the fire? Even more than I would have.
What if somebody gets in and is able to now get into that mode, but you could not figure that at recruitment? How do you judge that?
Well, you don't always get recruitment right, but I'm just saying, when you're doing your recruitment, look out for that too. It's a critical thing. And employee relations is an ongoing thing too also. You go out, you have team activities, you have, things to do, group activities outside of the office. Those are all things that will help your employee relations grow better and stronger. So aside the spirit of enterprise igniting, which is like the apex, the other things are, you go round. There's something we call management by wandering around. You feel you have a mental block on your seats. Go around, talk to your team members casually, nothing official. So, everybody is a team, is a team member, not a rigid environment. So it's also creating a very free-flowing work environment. Relations, if we look at the English definitions of relations, so that's what we're trying to achieve. Yeah. Trying to have a relationship with your team members such that, the workflow is improved. Yeah. So ignite them with the spirit of enterprise, interact with them, know what the challenges are, what challenges are on the job, off the job, how to improve it. Have surveys, quarterly, periodically, weekly. They don't have to put their names. Have surveys. How do we improve our processes? Continuously have surveys. Have a feedback mechanism. Have an open door policy. Let anybody that has something to say come in and tell you, boss, we're not getting this. We should be doing it this way. Let everybody be able to chip in. That's how to optimize. And when they're able to do that, and when a competitor wants to poach them, they look at it. Do they have this kind of spirit in that business? Because even if they are offering me more money, are they this flexible? Yeah. So, if they think about it very well, they don't always want to go for the money every time. So employee relations is critical. We can't stress it enough. So in a nutshell, bond with your team members. It's something I used to do, a while back when I was in a particular organization. My team members were scattered across the nation. I used to have Skype with my managers and different levels just to know what's going on, But for the ones within my physical space, just walk down to the shop floor, have discussions with them. How was your weekend? I saw a movie. I started like that. I saw a movie this way. How did you spend your weekend? So it's critical. And till now, some of those relationships are still there. I still have relationships with some of those guys because of what we did. That's very good. Thank you so much for that. In fact, as we were just speaking, the last part of it where you talked about, you painted the scenario of what you had done in the past, with that just brings to my mind some of the things that post-COVID era is also making businesses to get into the mode, kind of, people work now virtually, right? Or maybe they have the hybrid, the virtual and the on-site, and you see a situation where if you're going to bond so well with anyone who is not there physically with you, there must be a way that you have to get that well achieved and get them on top of their game and also sold out for the job, and help the
organization. So thank you so much. It's been a
my
wonderful
pleasure.
time. We appreciate your coming around, and we're sure that we'll take this
Anytime.
discussion
Anytime.
further very soon. Thank you so much. All right, so our viewers, here we'll call it a day for this show for this time. We'll be bringing him on board also soon, and we'll be having the discussion on employees, employers relationship, and it's going to be a great and a fantastic one. I'm sure with what he has shared, somehow it's opened our eyes and our minds to some of those things that we take for granted. And I'm sure by the time we take it further, looking at quite a lot of other areas and things that even has to do with high retention or turnover rates and all that, it's going to help to put our business on that pedestal where we can fly with the best of the input from our employees, our colleagues at work. Thank you so much. Till we'll come your way next time. I remain yours sincerely, Adeyiga Awomuti, and we are committed to the smartest you.